Fellas, I am a huge Ninjago fan, and I've got the contact list to prove it. But believe it or not, some people hate the theme and are very vocal about it. Which is fine, but there's just some things that really rub Ninjago fans the wrong way. Hey, Ninjago's for kids, you loser. Go outside and make some friends, you freak. Things that you should just never, ever say. So today, I'm going to be discussing some of the most common, terrible opinions about Ninjago. So please subscribe, because I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. Now, one of the more common criticisms of Ninjago is that it's running out of ideas, it's getting repetitive, and all the sets are the same. Look, you make perfectly valid and agreeable points, but I can't agree with them because I've spent way too much money on this theme. And honestly, the sets that people say are similar to one another, honestly, are pretty different and have different designs, different aesthetics. They're not the same, bro. Let's take, for example, Zane's Titan Mech and Lloyd's Titan Mech. Okay, the name really isn't helping me out here, but that's besides the point. One has knees, the other does not. One has two swords, the other has one. One has... Okay, that's pretty much it. But aside from the awesome larger mechs, LEGO also releases tons of terrible smaller mechs to mix it up and add some variety. These are not the same thing, you cannot compare the two. This is in no way similar to this, because it's terrible. We only have to look at the Hydro Bounty from this year to see that LEGO definitely isn't running out of ideas. Their flagship vehicle is still able to reinvent itself and stay unique after all of these years, whereas the Millennium Falcon, for example, is the epitome of, oh no, I forgot my homework. Let me just use my oldest siblings and change it a bit. Now give me 150 quid. I mean, at least when Ninjago reuses the exact same thing 3 years later, they make it blue. Each season of the theme is able to take the ninja to brand new locations, whether that be a haunted house, space, literally a video game. And if you've ever looked at the concept art for Ninjago, you'd know that there is pretty much a limitless supply of just fantastic ideas. And we only have to look at Ninjago Legacy to see that there are still sets from old seasons that we can get that are still fresh, unique, and big red Kai vehicles. Now, because people think Ninjago's repetitive, they're quick to say that it should have been cancelled after Season 2. What they probably don't know is that it actually was, and it was replaced with Chima. Now, if you're gonna blindlessly hate something, wouldn't you rather that it was a group of teenagers with cool powers, rather than an animal motorcyclist gang who are off their heads on performance-enhancing drugs? Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I was a bit bummed out to find out that it was gonna be going on for a third season, because I was so afraid they were gonna ruin it. But judging by the quality of seasons produced and sets produced later on, I'd say that it was a pretty good idea for the theme to continue. Ninjago Seabound is Ninjago's latest installment and has one of the best wave of sets and is arguably the best season of Ninjago ever produced. And when we compare Ninjago to other themes that tried to replace it, I think it's pretty clear that this theme in particular has a much wider appeal than whatever the hell this is supposed to be. Of course there's going to be overlap and things that seem a tad repetitive, but I seriously don't think that anybody could look at a given wave of Ninjago sets and say that they're not unique or innovative. I mean, come on, it's a snake wrecking ball. What more could you possibly ask for? This opinion is mainly held by either people who don't give the new seasons a go, or people who grew out of the theme around 2013. Now, not each season is great, or even good for that matter, but to say that Ninjago as a whole is worse now than it was back in the day is just the nostalgia talking. I mean, you're intoxicated on your childhood, so please stop. Hell, in 2017, we got a feature-length film for Ninjago, which, admittedly, was absolutely god-awful, but it just shows how much LEGO values the theme and how important it is. If people really weren't buying Ninjago and it wasn't selling well, then it would have been cancelled way back in 2013 and we wouldn't be getting a Ninjago Legacy wave for the 10th anniversary of it. But hands down, the most annoying thing that people say to me is, bruh, you're over 18 years old, living in your parents' house watching LEGO animated children's shows. You're 18 and you still watch cartoons and play with toys. Ninjago sucks, lol. Or my personal favourite, I wanna fight you. A lot of people say that Ninjago is for, kids. Now, YouTube will disable my comments if they think it's made for kids, and if I mention children, so I'm just gonna have to find a way to balance it out a bit. So many think they're so clever by saying, oh, Ninjago's made for kids, you hello? 7+. Last time I checked, I'm over double that number, so I'm more than qualified to buy this. Same thing goes for the show. Is it a kids show? Yes. Do I have anything better to do with my time? No. Now this one is mainly from non-LEGO fans, so allow me to explain a complex idea quite simply. People can enjoy things they like. It's a crazy concept, I know. I personally grew up with Ninjago when it was first released, and now most of its fans are younger than the theme itself. But the reason why older fans like myself stick around is the exact same reason why there's such strong communities around other cartoons like Adventure Time or Steven Universe, because they're great shows with really interesting lore. There are hundreds of comics detailing the canonical Ninjago lore in greater depth and a surplus of fan fictions, which I wouldn't recommend that you ever look at, because they will haunt you for the rest of your life. The show itself is no stranger to winning prestigious awards either for its music, directing, or performances, a point which really highlights its quality and wide appeal. And if Ninjago really wasn't made for older audiences, then how come I've got this sick hat, huh? Yeah, checkmate. In the show, there's also dozens of more mature themes which are explored. The loss of a parent, the struggles of fitting in, and the crime that is Season 1 Lloyd's haircut. I mean, really? You had to do him this bad? Hell, one of the main ninja even dies at one point, then dies again, and then a third time. But trust me, the third time really just like hits at home, the emotion. And we even get this scene with Cole on his mother's literal deathbed. As a Ninjago fan, when somebody describes the theme as nothing more than just a distraction tool for kids, I show them my distraction tool. Now please subscribe.